His name is Yidong. It's been more than 6 months since he graduated. He has nothing, no ambition, no motivation. That night, when Yidong was working at a convenience store, suddenly an old man came in. He threw his money on the table. He even made an insulting gesture. But fortunately, Kim Myung-kul, who was traveling with him, was sensible. He kept apologizing and explained that it's not easy to work outside, and the matter was closed. Near the end of the day, Yidong wanted to borrow the shop's hammer to use at home, but the boss didn't hear him, so he put it in his bag and headed home. When he passed by the intersection of the alley, Yidong found the man lying on the ground. He thought he was drunk. He didn't respond when he called him twice, so he left. However, just a few steps away, he saw Kim Myung-kul at the next intersection. He kindly reminded him that he was lying on the side of the road, but he turned around and told him to get lost. He had a different attitude from the shop. Yidong was so angry that he made an international gesture. Coincidentally, there was a mirror across the street, and Kim Myung-kul saw it. Before Yidong could get over it, Kim Myung-kul took off his school bag and beat him up, and cursed at him. It reminded Yidong of the time he was bullied in school. Maybe he was completely enraged, or he was fed up with the ravages of life. Yidong grabbed the hammer in his bag. He smashed Kim Myung-kul's head. Coincidentally, it was raining. The cold rain woke Yidong up. When he came to his senses, Kim Myung-kul was able to get up from the ground, but he didn't get far before he fell down again in pain. Seeing this, Yidong wanted to go up to save him. Coincidentally, 2 men came in front of him. He was so scared that he lost his concentration. Luckily, they turned back, but when he turned his head, he saw a woman wearing a yellow dress and holding a dog. The woman passed by as if nothing had happened. Then he realized it was a guide dog. Yidong was worried that someone would find him here. He ran home in a panic. As soon as he arrived home, he tried desperately to wash off the blood stains on his body. But the first time he killed someone, he had a hallucination. He had a vision of Kim Myung-kul. He dreamt of his arrest and his mother's sadness. At that moment, his good friend came to spend the night. Yidong checked the sentence for manslaughter. He heard sirens outside the window. He looked out the window as if he were a scared bird, to make sure that they are not here to arrest his own. This night he did not sleep much. Unconsciously recalled the time he cheated with elder sister without being caught. When he was studying, no one suspected him of stealing other people's mobile phones, so he reassured himself, maybe he'll get away with murder this time like he did before. But when he looked at the painting on the floor, Yidong suddenly remembered the hammer in the shop. That's what he used for the murder. He panicked when he ran away, so he left it at the crime scene. The next day, the police found the body of Kim Myung-kul. While investigating the scene, the officer found a shopping bag from the convenience store. He went to Yidong's place of work. He took all the CCTV footage, but there was nothing out of the ordinary. The officer found out that he had been very rude to Yidong, so he questioned him immediately. Yidong answered the questioning calmly on the surface. In fact, he was thinking about the hammer. Just when he wanted to confess everything, colleagues reported that the results of DNA matching came out. In addition, there were witnesses last night who saw Uncle and Kim Myung-kul arguing. It's assumed that he killed Kim Myung-kul, since the blood on the uncle's body matches the blood on the speaker in Kim Myung-kul's backpack. The probability is that they killed each other. In fact, the officer didn't see Yidong holding the hammer on the CCTV, happened to be blocked by a fly. That afternoon, Yidong deliberately passed by the crime scene, heard a few workers talking about the broken surveillance here. The next day, the police made a new discovery. Kim Myung-kul's DNA matches that of the serial killer from years ago. It was then exposed by the TV station. Yidong's mood changed when he saw it. He felt that he had done the people a favor. However, the blind woman in yellow does not seem to be blind. The murder weapon was lying on the coffee table in her house. A girl went to a convenience store to buy something. She asked the clerk for $2 million without paying. He was shocked to hear that. What's even harder to understand, she asked for cash. It turns out that the girl saw Yidong kill someone last night. In fact, she's not blind. Only her left eye was injured and she couldn't see. Yidong was numb when he heard that. He thought, isn't this blackmail? At that moment, a few customers came in. The girl looks like a reminder but is actually a threat. She asked if there were any hammers here. Then she told them to prepare the money for tomorrow and left. Yidong was very angry, so he borrowed money from a friend that night. The next day, he got an advance from his boss and stole his family's bankbook. he managed to get the $2 million together, but Yi Dang waited all day for the girl. At the end of his shift, suddenly, he found a cigarette case on the wooden table outside the shop, and on the cigarette case, there was a drawing of a hammer, and told him to be there tomorrow at noon. The next day at noon, Yi Dang arrived at the girl's house on time. The girl made him a cup of coffee, and then expressed her horror at the events of the night. Yi Dang counted the money and folded it neatly. When the other party confirms it, he prays to help him keep his secret. He didn't expect the girl to say yes. She said she demanded $2 million every month. She also found a hammer. After all, she's an accomplice now. How can she charge only $2 million for covering up a murder? Then the conversation took a turn for the worse. The girl praised the dog's curiosity. That's why it brought the hammer back. Yi Dang didn't bother to discuss it with her, and grabbed the hammer. He warned her that she could keep the money, but this thing must be taken away. Unexpectedly, the girl threatened him to report his home address, and his sister's upcoming marriage and mother's regular church attendance, and other information. Yi Dang, who had left, had to turn back, but the girl continued to threaten. Now his DNA is all over the house. The police investigation is very sophisticated. If she testify, Yi Dang will be arrested in less than 4 days. Even if it's manslaughter, he'll get at least 15 years. So think carefully about whether he want her to help him hide it, or not. On the contrary, if he cooperates well, she'll consider lowering the price. This gives Yi Dang a feeling. It's like a dog on a leash. As soon as the master beckons, he had to run immediately. However, the girl didn't realize one thing. This seemingly docile dog in front of her is a real murderer. The girl was hit and fell on the stone fence. She didn't breathe. Yi Dang, who had regained his senses, gathered the money on the table and the hammer. He ran away from the girl's house as fast as he could. 3 days later, in the morning, the milkman was curious. Usually, fresh milk is consumed on the same day, but there was so much of it in front of this house, so he leaned over the fence and saw the dead girl. Soon after, the police cordoned off the girl's house. While the officers were investigating the scene, the dog dug a pit in the front yard, and there was a white bone in the pit. The National Search Division identified the bones in the yard were the dead girl's mother, who had been missing for 5 years. There were no clues in the girl's house. The dogs licked all the doorknobs, the coffee table, the desktop and the teacups. Meanwhile, Yi Dang has already killed 2 people. He was really worried, so he tried to kill himself, but in the end, he didn't have the courage. That night, the policeman was going to take the dog for a walk. He was seen by 2 punks who had a problem with him. One of them was so angry that he got the guts to do it. He grabbed a broken bottle and stabbed the cop. The policeman died. Yi Dang was in a daze when he turned on the news. He saw that the fake blind girl was the murderer of her parents. Yi Dang's mood immediately improved, because both of the people he killed deserved to die. On the way home, Yi Dang met those 2 punks, and noticed that one of them had blood stains on his hands and clothes. Immediately, goosebumps grew on his neck. The image of Kim Myung-kul and the blind girl appeared in front of his eyes, because he had fallen in love with the feeling of killing. The next morning, Yi Dang woke up from his coma. In the mirror, he found himself covered in blood stains. On the floor was a hammer, a bloody brick, and a note. The note said to contact an account number if needed. At the same time, the police found the bodies of 2 punks at a construction site.